name's Jeff, the first counselor of Setting Order Ministries. In this video, we're going to talk about um, modern prophets versus dead prophets. I was talking to someone on Facebook, and he actually said that that he believed that you should follow the living prophet and forget dead prophets. Never mind dead prophets. I was even in Nevada at a church, and in the church, one of the men in the church said that the same thing, to follow the living prophets and forget about the past dead prophets. But what they don't realize is when you do that, it makes more room for corruption to modify or change things. Joseph Smith, I believe it was, he said that if anyone preaches anything contrary than what Joseph Smith has preached, you can set that person down as an apostate. So I have a whole list of things that Thomas S Monson contradicts with Joseph Smith. One of them would include celestial plural marriage. In Monson's church, when you get married in the temple, you make a covenant to live celestial plural marriage, which is polygamy. And when members make this covenant, they break their covenant right after because they never end up living celestial plural marriage. They break their covenant. So everyone in Monson's church who thinks their marriage is going to last beyond death, that's not going to happen, because the scriptures are the study guide. If you change the study guide, you're going to have to change the test, the whole test. Otherwise, the study guide won't match up with the test. That's like trying to study for a math test and you don't even know any of the questions of how to answer the questions on the math test because you were looking at the wrong study guide. It's the exact same thing with the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you take the study guide and if you thwart it and change it, it's not going to match up with the test. You're going to get a bunch of things wrong. You're not going to ever pass the test. So this is what Monson has done in his church. He's changed the study book. The study book no longer matches the test. So when members of his church go to take the test, they all fail because they weren't prepared to take the test. So Joseph Smith believed in celestial plural marriage and polygamy to live that law. Brigham Young said that he wouldn't give a fig for the gospel without united order and celestial plural marriage. So that's already one thing right there that Thomas S. Monson contradicts with Joseph Smith. Number two would be the word of wisdom. Thomas S. Monson says that you cannot get a recommend for the temple unless you live the word of wisdom to a T. Joseph Smith was found in the streets of Nauvoo riding on a horse, and in his mouth was a cigar. He had a cigar in his mouth. He was smoking a cigar the day after the revelation given on the word of wisdom was given, proving that the word of wisdom is not a commandment and has no constraint. There cannot be any limits or limitations. But in Monson's church, you're restricted, you're limited on whether you can get a recommend or not, just because if you drink tea or coffee. Brigham Young said that you'd rather drink the tea rather than waste the good spring water. He also said that in the United Order they would have a rail, and on that rail, if you desired, you could desire coffee or tea. So again, Monson contradicts both Brigham Young and Joseph Smith on this matter of the word of wisdom. He says that, and also God, Thomas S. Monson says that the word of wisdom is a commandment. But if you look at the Revelation, it says that it's not a commandment and has no constraint. And also, if you look further in the Doctrine and Covenants, it says, God says that He only gives spiritual commandments, and not at any time has He given temporal commandments. Brigham Young said that it's not what goeth into a man that defileth him, but what cometh out of him that defileth him. So it's not about what you eat, it's about what you say. That's what will defile you. So that's two things. The third thing is abortion, shedding of innocent blood. Joseph Smith was completely against abortion, shedding of innocent blood. If you read the Bible in the Book of Mormon and also in the Doctrine and Covenants, it all says that shedding of innocent blood is a sin. It's murder. It's denying the Holy Ghost. So that's, and members who sustain Monson by raising their hand take on this sin of abortion, the shedding of innocent blood, and we'll have to pay for that in hell. So that's three things. 4, the sacrament. Thomas S. Monson allows deacons to pass sacrament, which in the scriptures it says that neither deacons nor teachers can pass a sacrament. So that's 4 things. The 5th thing would be united order. Thomas S. Monson does not practice, teach, or want the members of his church to have a united order. Thomas S. Monson's shooken the president's hand. He is part of Babylon. He wants people to work at jobs and continue to serve Babylon and pay funds to Babylon, which is completely contrary and contradicts everything Joseph Smith and Brigham Young taught. That is to live united order and to get out of Babylon, never participate in Babylon. So that's 5 things. You can, any questions anybody has, they can post those below, and I can answer those either over Messenger, or I can make a video and explain or answer the questions if people want to do that. So since Monson teaches that to only support and sustain living prophets and forget about dead ones, that right there shows apostasy and corruption in the church, because the founding prophets of Mormonism are the ones who started Mormonism. I mean, if you leave them out of it, you're not even Mormon. You're just a different religion altogether. You can't just take out all these principles, laws, and ordinances of the gospel and add all this new stuff and think it's still the same church and you're still going to be blessed and saved in the Lord's kingdom. It's just not going to work that way. So that's all I have. Thanks.